is hot temperatures?
In the snow or in the mountains, this is hot. And,
Okay.
the dogs, they need time to cool down, and they
Right.
need time to be resting in the snow, laying down, and they do that kind of between runs. So
And then how many dogs do you take out per run?
9 to 10.
9 to 10 dogs?
Yeah.
And you have special ones that lead the
Yeah,
pack,
the
right? Are
smarter
they
ones.
the
Yeah.
smarter dogs
Yeah.
lead the pack?
And then you put the muscle in the back, near the
Okay.
back. So some dogs like to be up front and lead just like people, and some just like to look at the butt in front of them.
And do you use hand signals or voice commands to
All
direct?
mushers use voice commands. We really
Okay.
don't have any reins of any kind like horses at all. It's all just kind of either verbal, and all the power a musher really does have is actually their brake.
Okay.
Yeah, to kind of hold the team in place. That's about it.
And you have one musher usually per run, and then
Uh-huh.
I guess you have passengers, and usually do
Yeah.
you let passengers
Yeah, we
take
kind of
control
have,
of
we have
the-
a couple places for passengers in the front sled and the back sled, and then the second sled we let our guests drive that second sled, so they get to be the musher and feel how it feels to actually kind of drive on the sled. But they're not responsible for the team, but they get that nice enjoyment of getting to feel the power behind
Wow.
the sled. Now.
And how many miles does the run go?
It's about 2 miles.
2 miles?
Yeah. It takes kind of a nice little journey away from camp where it kind of goes out of visibility and just around the mountains on the basin of the Marsh Glacier.
Well, thank you so much for having me here today. This has been an awesome experience, and I'm excited to get back on the sled and see where we're headed next.
Yeah, the dogs are too.
They are too. I can tell they're excited. All right. Well, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Let's do it.
All right.
Ketchikan has been the state's largest city, the salmon capital of the world, and is referred to as the first city of Alaska. Now, it was established in 1887 when a salmon cannery was built at the mouth of the Ketchikan Creek. Because of its close proximity to the 3,000-foot Deer Mountain, there wasn't much room for expansion, so most of the city was built on pilings along the water's edge. The historic district of Creek Street was once Alaska's most notorious red light area, where miners would spend their hard-earned money and time in its bars and bordellos. In 1990, the town was officially incorporated and is now one of Alaska's most visited cities. And Creek Street remains the most popular attraction, with its shops and boutiques now occupying those houses with stilts. And they no longer have a questionable reputation. The Celebrity Infinity is a grand hotel, entertainment and shopping center, and state-of-the-art cruise ship all at the same time. And it takes a crew of over 1,000 to keep her operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Here in the Trellis restaurant, around 2,000 guests are served breakfast, lunch, and dinner daily. Ever wonder what it takes to keep things operating smoothly? Well, let's take a look. I'm here with one of Celebrity Cruises' executive chefs, Chef Mikhail. Thank you for having me here today.
My pleasure.
So now this is the main galley, correct?
Yeah, it is a part of the main galley actually. Okay. Yes, it is.
How many meals would be prepared here on a typical cruise?
Actually, every single day we prepare up to 9,000 meals a day.
Wow,
Yes,
9,000 meals.
Yes.
So now, does anything arrive on board pre-prepared, or is it all made fresh here?
Not at all, no. We prepare everything from the scratch here on board. I have a pastry chef, I have a head baker, I have a head butcher, so they prepare everything from the scratch.
What about ingredients, though? Are you able to have things delivered at the beginning of the cruise, or do you need to have certain things shipped in at various ports?
Yeah, we do receive fish and meat and fresh vegetable and fresh fruit at the beginning of the cruise, but along the way, you know, we pick up some more fresh fruit and fresh vegetable in order to work with a fresh product every single day until the end of the cruise, you know. So this is a way to have a fresh product every single day.
Goodness, so to keep all that on board, I must imagine that there's a really large refrigerator back there somewhere.
Yeah, we have what we call the provision area. It is located on deck 1, so we have a huge fridge. It looks like almost like a supermarket since we have everything, you know.
Wow.
And we have a fridge for the vegetable, for the fruit, for the meat, for the fish, and also for the dry store. So everything is located on deck 1.
Wow. So, well, now I have a personal question for you. Out of everything that you prepare here, what is your favorite thing to make?
My favorite thing is actually the guest favorite, you know. I will say sole meunière. This is our highlight of the cruise, you know, sole meunière. Very simple dish, but the fish is fantastic, and the way we prepare it on board is
That sounds wonderful. We have seen some spectacular shows here in the Celebrity Theater during our voyage. Now, putting on a full production twice a night can be difficult for any theater, but imagine trying to do this on a stage that is actually moving below you. That can make set changes and performances very difficult. Let's see if we can catch our production manager to find out exactly how they do that. Seth Berry is the production manager here in the Celebrity Theater. Hi, Seth. Thank you so much for having me here today.
My pleasure.
So tell me, what exactly does the production manager do?
The production manager oversees any of the shows that happen in the show lounge here, whether it's the guest entertainers that come on board or the production shows with the singers and dancers.
Okay, so when you say oversees the shows, do you actually control, say, the lighting and the sound, or is that separate?
Lighting and sound is actually run by a computer for the production shows. They start at the computer and the lighting boards are all computerized. They take the cues from the computer, and the soundboard, you know, adjusts everything and mutes microphones and unmutes microphones. Computer tells us all what to do.
But you actually have somebody in, say, control of the lighting.
Correct.
That controls the switchboard to make everything happen. So I noticed there's a lot of different dynamics that you use with lighting, including the drops that you drop in the background.
Yes.
And is that controlled manually, or is that computerized also?
They're manually, but the computer tells it when to happen.
Oh,
it's all synced up with a time code, and so it's all timed out the same time every single time. So it comes in right at the right moment.
The singers don't use microphones, correct? They actually have an earpiece that
they do have
sound.
microphones, but it's a headset microphone that sits on the back of their head and has a little microphone piece right by their mouth, and they sing away, so they don't have to worry about carrying one around the stage with them.
Well, that's a lot better for them. And then the stage actually moves. I noticed in one of your productions it rotates.
Yes.
How is that controlled?
It's a motor that's beneath it, and somebody controls that. They are off stage and they run it with a switch, but it's cued when to happen by the computer.
Okay, wow, so that makes your job a little easier. Everything's controlled by a computer nowadays.
That's right.
Now, what about your cast? How many cast members do you have?
We have about 15 cast members on board.
And then how often do they rehearse?
They rehearse for the production shows every single time we have a production show. In the afternoon, we do a full run through with lights and sounds so that they get refreshed on it and are ready for the performance that night. And then we do the 2 performances. But prior to joining the ship, they actually rehearse for 6 days a week for a full month prior to coming on for 6 months.
Oh, wow. So they already know the shows by the time they arrive on the ship.
That's right, yes.
Okay. And then they're contracted for 6 months at a time.
6
or
months
little
at a time,
more
yeah,
than
about
that.
7 months by the time they get their rehearsal time before.
Okay. And then are there other shows that are performed here besides your immediate cast?
Yes, the guest entertainers come on and they're featured in the evening, which can be, we have jugglers, we have comedians, we have marionette puppet shows, we have pianists, vocalists,
Oh, wow.
you name it.
So
We've
the
got
theater
it.
is actually used every single night of the
Every
cruise.
single night, yes.
Now, what about when you're in rough seas? Are there any shows that sometimes get canceled or?
We've never had to cancel a show, but sometimes with lifts with the dancers or, you know, depending on the act, if it's a juggler, you know, sometimes they might have to vary their, you know, performance a little bit because of the rough seas
Wow, I
for
would say
safety
so.
and that sort of thing, yeah.
So it holds true that the show must go on.
Very true, yes.
Oh. Well, it's such a beautiful theater in here, and I'm just curious to know exactly how many people does it seat?
Seats about 1,000 people.
1,000 people.
Yes.
And you are full every night.
Yep, we try to be.
So I should get here early if I want the front row seat,
Yeah.
unless you can give me a front row reserved sign.
For you, I think I could arrange that.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to tonight's production. I'll be here early, I promise.
Thank you. All right.
Getting the ship from port to port on time, in comfort, and in complete safety is the job for those guys up there, better known as the bridge crew. Now, when we're all on board enjoying ourselves, the bridge crew is working 24 hours a day, keeping an eye on everything from the course that we follow to the water temperature in the pool and pretty much everything else in between. So let's go and take a look and see exactly how they do that. I'm here with Demetrius Petros. He is the navigation officer here on board. Now, what exactly is a navigation officer?
A navigation officer is one of the officers on board that actually cooperates very closely with the captain to prepare a safe passage for the whole cruise.
Okay, so this is all of your equipment, obviously.
Yes.
Where do you even begin when you leave one port and you're headed to the next?
We start with the traditional paper chart,
Oh,
and then the technology helped us to move around the electronic chart. We actually do the same planning to both of these items, and together with the captain again, we prepare the plan from A to B.
so this is obviously your paper chart.
Here we have the paper chart, which actually we put out our tracks, the lines, let's say, that the ship is going to follow. We have also our position on the charts, together with the electronic chart, which actually gives us a lot of details, but we can online check our ship's position anytime we like.
And what is the difference between these two monitors?
The next monitor is a radar screen, which actually has a little bit more advanced. It has the electronic chart overlay together with a radar image. So for us, it's very easy to see any navigational dangers around the vessel through the electronic map, but also in the vicinity through other ships.
Now, this monitor seems to have a lot of technical stuff going on. What exactly does that do?
It's the most complicated screen we have. It shows us all the information that the big computer, the autopilot, takes into consideration to correct our ship's course and always to have the ship where we want it.
Okay, I guess that's really important then. There's one more thing that I noticed. You actually have a wheel for the ship, and it's such a small wheel for
Yes.
such a large ship.
Well, size doesn't matter on the Millennium class ships.
Oh, I don't suppose I could take a spin at it.
No,
No,
you can't.
I didn't think so. I had to ask though. How long does it take to actually train to be a chief officer?
It's a lot of years. 4 years in the university, a lot of years of seamanship, continuous training, seminars, non-stop actually, I should say, training for all of us here.
Well, that's good to know as a passenger.
Yes.
There's one more thing that caught my eye. It's actually over here. It's a glass window that looks down to the ocean.
Yes, all the way to the starboard wing. Let's
Now,
go.
what is that about? We gotta check that
This
out.
is where the captain goes and sits, so he can maneuver the ship.
Okay, we go see that?
Yes.
So this is actually a little scary to me, I must admit. You can see all the way down to the ocean from here.
This is a romantic window. This is actually the position that the master stands when he puts the ship alongside.
Okay.
He has a very good view of the dock. Imagine the ship going alongside. He can see exactly the distance. He has all the equipment that he wants. He has a radar, he has the information screen, he has the throttles for the pods, he has his thrusters, and of course he has a view of the whole ship at the back.
That's amazing. Quite a shot from up here. Wow. So I guess this is the most important place to be when we're actually docking at a port.
Yes, this is where the master stands together with the help of the staff captain. They are putting the ship alongside.
Well, beside all the responsibilities that you have in docking and making sure we're headed on our path, what other responsibilities do you have on the bridge?
Here on the bridge we have the emergency center, let's say.
Okay.
We will man any problems that we will have on board the ship. Problems with fire, with damage, with collision, and we have the fire smoke alarms here that we have to pay very big attention. We have the watertight doors as well, and in any case of emergency, all the big heads will be here to take the proper action.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for meeting with me. I feel like I've learned a lot. It was very nice to meet you.
Thank you very much for coming here.
Thank you so much. Hi, I'm Rhonda.
Hello, I'm Nikos.
Nice
Lovely
to meet you
too.
too. So this is where you monitor the engine, all the power supply for the ship.
Exactly, and this is